governments is stirring up all around the globe. There's also an unseen war brewing against freedom of religion. Particularly Christians are being burned alive, beheaded, crucified, and tortured to death. Some are in prison, but most people aren't even aware of it. Discrimination against Christians should be countered in the same way as anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, but the governments of the Western world and the mainstream media are almost entirely ignoring what is happening. It's been estimated that 100 million Christians are currently facing persecution, being forced to leave their homes and see their churches destroyed in some parts of the world. Some are often subjected to rapes, kidnappings, and obviously discrimination. A top Vatican official estimates that approximately 100,000 Christians die for their faith each year. Now, this persecution is steadily intensifying as a growing unseen war on morality and freedom of religion is spreading.
We questioned this morning just how dangerous those 5 Taliban members really are. Men back in Qatar, as we've been saying this morning, and ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross is here with more details on that.
Well, good morning, Robin. All 5 of the men were once considered senior members of the Taliban, and this morning, the terror group is calling their release a major victory. New video posted this morning on an Afghan news website shows the 5 former detainees arriving in Qatar with no sign they were under any sort of custody or guard.
The key question remains their release. How does that affect, or does it affect, our national security?
Well, at one point, all 5 men were described as too dangerous to be set free. And of most concern to counter-terror experts is the former Deputy Defense Minister for the Taliban, Mullah Mohammad Fazl, who, according to a U.S. assessment made 6 years ago and made public by WikiLeaks, had a high risk for the U.S. and its allies and was likely to rejoin the Taliban in fighting.
Members of the North Texas chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, are calling for the resignation of a Keller ISD trustee. They held a news conference just about an hour ago. This move comes after Jolynn Hausman posted an anti-Muslim remark on her Facebook page.
Parents in Keller are shocked.
It's definitely discouraging.
It's kind of sad to know that in this day and age that's still happening.
Their frustration is fueled by this Facebook post from newly elected school trustee Jolynn Hausman.
They say this is also not the first time she's made hateful comments online.
Well, public schools are supposed to be forums for open dialogue, but one Woodbury student says the internet at his school is only open to one side.
Page.
Townhall.com.
After page.
National Right to Life.
Woodbury student Andrew Lampart showed us screenshots of the internet taken from within Nanawank High School. Many of so-called political or advocacy websites blocked by the school's firewall. Then, for abortion issues, National Right to Life website,
blocked at the high school.
Planned Parenthood and Pro-Choice America
are both unblocked.
Lampart even says he found Christian sites blocked, including the website for the Vatican.
However, IslamGuide.com, obviously an Islamic-based text website, is unblocked.
He claims he informed Woodbury's superintendent of his discovery, but after a week, nothing was done.
A Webster man says his apartment manager told him his American flag was a threat to the Muslim community and that he has to take it down.
Stepping onto Dewey Tran's balcony in Webster, one thing is clear.
It means a lot to me.
He's talking about his American flag that he proudly put up when he moved in just a few days ago. But then an apartment manager here at the lodge on El Dorado told him he had to take it down.
What really stunned me is that she said it's a threat towards the Muslim community.
And law enforcement experience are highly preferred.
So who are the fighters of ISIS? They're a Sunni Muslim jihadist group, an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, formed a year ago and pledging to create an Islamic State across Iraq, Syria and neighboring countries. They have strongholds in significant parts of northern Syria too, but their ambitions go far wider, to create a Muslim caliphate, a single Islamic State, to include not just Jordan and the Palestinian territories, but Israel too, and much of North Africa.
Good evening. Over a decade after the American invasion, after all the blood and treasure spent on the battlefield, the billions of dollars spent on training and armaments, tonight a heavily armed extreme force, in some cases using American arms and vehicles, is making lightning speed from city to city across the Iraqi countryside, and a big part of that country has fallen to their control. They are known as ISIS, standing for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
Some American veterans might be able to recognize their old Humvees, given to the Iraqi army. Some now shattered, burned, others taken over by Islamic militants, a splinter group of Al-Qaeda called ISIS, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The goal, the militants said today, to impose strict Islamic Sharia law, not just in Iraq, but in Syria and beyond. They're led by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, a militant. U.S. troops in Iraq, was in U.S. custody for years. Many say he's the true heir to Osama bin Laden.
Growing concern that the terror tirade in Iraq will soon be coming here, the United States.
The seeds of 9/11s are being planted all over Iraq and Syria. You don't have to believe me. This is what they're telling you they're going to do.
I am concerned, and I think all Americans should be concerned.
I guarantee you this is a problem that we will have to face. And we're either going to face it in New York City or we're going to face it here.
I was on the flight with when we transferred him north to Baghdad for final transfer to the Iraqis. When we handed him off, he knew we were from New York, and he knew he was going to get out, in my mind, because as he left, he told me and the soldiers that were around me, I'll see you in New York.
Who is he?
And that's the fear coming to a city, including New York, as a result of what they're doing. Our last message is to the Americans. Soon we will be in direct confrontation, and the sons of Islam have prepared for such a day. So watch, for we are with you watching.
The best way to describe what the Obama administration is considering with Iran might be the old proverb, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
As one.
With all of this public knowledge, Barack Obama brought this man to the White House, where he doesn't thank the United States for bringing his son home, but quoting from the Quran, speaking in Arabic, thanks Allah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo.
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. الحمد لله الذي رزقنا أن نهاجر في سبيل الله وننضم في هذه الدولة الإسلامية، دولة إسلامية في العراق والشام، ونحمد الله الذي رزقنا وجمعنا مع هؤلاء الأسود دولة الإسلام في كل مكان. والله العظيم لنطهر الجزيرة منكم يا أيها الأنجاز، ونفتح البيت المقدس منكم يا أيها اليهود، ونفتح روما كالنحن كالبني إسحاق، فنفتح روما والأندلس بإذن الله.
Brutal, well organized, and well financed. The Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, also known as ISIS, has rapidly morphed into the world's most dangerous jihadist organization. Its methods so extreme, Al-Qaeda itself has disavowed any relationship with it. And with each city it conquers, it seems its power and influence grows.